Hey friend, congratulations on getting your free resource. My name is Henry Tolbert, and I'm excited to share with you how churches are using the 3G model to grow, but to grow without burning out the leader and without learning all of these complicated marketing strategies. And one of the reasons I'm excited to share this with you is because I have this underlying belief. And it is this: you can lead a growing church. I believe that. I believe that God wants the church to grow, and it's our job to do what we can to see if we can help it grow. And so, over the course of this time together, I'm going to share with you three big secrets that I have learned of how you can begin to build that momentum in your church and begin to do it in a way that is healthy for you. Before we get started, I want to remind you of something. I want you to stay to the end. I want you to pay close attention to what I'm sharing, but I want you to stay to the end because at the end, I'm going to give you an amazing gift. I'm going to really help you take some strides in moving your vision forward, but you have to stay to the end in order to get it. So before I jump into the three big secrets, let me tell you a little bit about why this is so important to me. You know, that picture is from 2010 when I first became a church planter. And we became a church planter. We were so excited, man. We launched with 99 people in the room, and it was just amazing. It felt like all the hard work that we in the preparation that we put in over the last couple of months were worth it. Well, I wish it stayed that way, but over the next couple of weeks, things would change. You know, we went from 99 people on launch day to 60 people, then even down to 30 people. And the story really comes to a head for me one Wednesday night. I go in to teach Bible study, and there are only 3 people in the room. And in that moment, I just remember feeling so embarrassed. And I remember feeling just so much shame because I felt like I just really failed the mission that God had called me to. And I just started to wonder, why did I ruin? What had I done to ruin what God was trying to do? And so in that moment, before I taught Bible study that night, I went back into my office and I prayed and I made a decision. I made a vow. I made a vow to the Lord. I said, Lord, I'm going to preach and I'm going to give your gospel to whoever you send to me. I don't care if it's 3 or 3,000. But then the second thing I'm going to do is I'm going to do everything in my power to get better so that I can lead your church well. And one of the things that's really unique that would happen is that over the next couple of years, I feel like the Lord would really take us through a master class in learning how to invest in, how to build, how to care about his church. And that's one of the things that we would see. You see there in that second picture is just a short time later where we're now doing 3 completely filled services in our storefront facility at that time before we moved to our new facility. And so I just never forgot the lessons of that time. I never forgot the lessons along the way because every single one of them served to help us move forward in the vision. And so I'm about to give you those secrets. I'm about to give you this 3-step process to show you how God gave us an education that really helped us go to the next level. All right. So if you're taking notes, I want you to write this down. I want you to jot down some notes, and I want you to, after it's done, contextualize it, go wrestle with it yourself and think about how these 3 things fit into your context. All right. Big secret number 1 is that you must prepare for growth. You must prepare for growth. You know, you're looking at that picture right there. This was when our church was still really small. We had not even broke, I don't think, past 75 people yet at the time of that picture. But what I was doing is I was taking a group of volunteers and a group of leaders through some intense development to help prepare our church for growth. I'll give you a really prime example. We were really praying that God was going to send new people and that He was going to do that. But as simple as preparing for growth seems, most churches do a great job of praying for growth, but not preparing for it. And so we prepared for it. One of the things that we started to do is that we started to say, if a new person showed up today, what are we going to do with them? And so we started building out our processes. We started to build out our intake process. And I remember we built our first connections team. Said, if somebody shows up, here's who's going to talk to them. Here's what they're going to talk to them about. Here's what we want them to do next. We built a map for how people will move from their first day visit to 2 years later, where we wanted to see them fully engaged in ministry and living out their gifts. And so our big secret number 1 was to prepare for growth, right? Because it's all about, and this is the part of our process we call gather. It's all about figuring out when people show up, when people come together, How do we make that time significant, and how do we help them take some real steps forward? All right. Number two, big secret number two, after we gather, then we focus on growing. And the way we focused on growing was through a strategy we call reach and keep. Reach and keep. I grew up in a culture in the church where we were really good at having these events that recycle church people. We'd have Men's Day, Women's Day, 100 women in white, 100 men in black, just these church fellowships. And really what would happen is people would come for that day, but then they'd go back to the church. And so what we learned to do in this portion of our strategy, in secret number two, is that we learned to host targeted events and to make sure that those events not only fit the people we were trying to reach, but they help us come up with a next step. All right. So I'll give you a prime example. At the time of the picture you're looking at, our target was college students. We really wanted to reach college students. We wanted to make a difference in their lives. And so here's how we implemented Reach and Keep. Reach was, here's the event, the targeted event that we're going to do to go after college students. So we planned a day where we invited all the Greek organizations and the student organizations and all the different departments on campus to come out. We incentivized them to be at service. That's our reach. But then the keep was, we already had our follow-up process in place. We already knew what we were going to ask them to do while they were there. We already knew what we wanted to do next. We came into that event with a goal of 50% retention rate. And so we were already saying that day, here's where we're moving people to next, because that's a part of our keep strategy. Because if people come through the front door and go out of the back door, it doesn't help us. And so what we need is a strategy to say, when people come in and we reach them, how do we keep them? How do we help them make relationships? How do we help them take next steps, right? And that's a part of our grow strategy. Right there, we focus on all the systems that help people become more connected to the vision, but also to grow up in the vision and become partners with you in the vision. And then last but not least, third secret, it is develop new leaders. Develop new leaders, right? You're looking at that picture and going, what does a parking lot have to do with develop new leaders? Well, parking was a huge issue for us. And as we grew, parking wasn't the only issue we had. I started to discover that because of the way I was leading, every time we grew, it cost me more. It was more people I needed to speak with, more ministries I needed to help organize, more vision I needed to cast, and it wore me out. There was even one day I woke up getting ready to go and preach 3 full services, and I had a complete meltdown. I was crying uncontrollably. My wife literally gave me a sleeping pill and made me go back to sleep at the behest of our doctor. And it was at that moment that I learned the value of developing new people. And so that parking lot that you're looking at was a solution to a problem that I didn't have to come up with. And I'm telling you, if you've been leading for any amount of time, you know how valuable that is, to have a moment where you get to a solution that you yourself did not have to create. A team of leaders came together and put together a strategy for our overrun, overcrowded parking lot. And it all came because we developed new leaders. We pulled those leaders into a strategy and we started walking with them, intentionally developing their leadership, giving them the clarity they need. Here's what I learned. Everybody has a capacity to lead. You've got to discover what that capacity is and give them the clarity they need to do it well. All right. So that's what it is. So listen, at this point, I've had the opportunity to work with over 100 churches from all across the country. You can see some of the logos right there. And it has been a joy to implement some of what we're talking about here and even more things that we haven't even talked about yet. And so I want to give you a chance to get to see firsthand what we do and who we are. So here's your next step. I need you to apply. There's a button below. I want you to click apply, and I want you to apply because here's a free gift I'm going to give you, a free 45-minute strategy session. I want you to click apply, go to that, sign up for that free strategy session. You're going to choose a date and time, and we're going to sit and I'm going to help you work through some real issues. We're going to dive down into the specifics of where you are as a church, and we're going to help you take the next steps necessary to break free from whatever it is that has you stuck. All right. And as we do that, there's a couple of things for you to consider. Here's who this is for. This is for you if you're serious about seeing your church grow. If you really want to see the kingdom expand through your church, this is for you. If you have a really big vision, I love working with people with big vision. Maybe your vision is to pastor a church of 250 people. Maybe your vision is to pastor 5 churches of 50 people. Whatever it may be, we're looking for people who have big vision. And then finally, if you're willing to empower, train people. I don't want to build something just for you to go and wear yourself out some more. You've got to be willing to take the next step and empower others. Now, here's a scenario where this wouldn't be the right fit for you. If you just want a quick solution, That's not what we do. We're here to do surgery, not put on band-aids, right? If you're not willing to put in the work, this isn't for you. I'm not giving you a cutter solution that you just take it and apply it over here. You're going to have to do the work. We're going to work together to contextualize it to you. And so you got to be willing to do that. And then lastly, if you want to do everything yourself and get all the credit, this is not for you. I'm going to help you and your church put together a strategy that's going to help take the weight off of you so you can involve other people in helping to do the work of the kingdom. All right. I want to see you thrive. I want to see you be blessed. I want to see you take the next step, but you're going to have to be willing to partner with me through it. All right. So here's what I need from you. Real simple. Click apply now. Our spaces are limited. I can only do this with a certain number of leaders every month. Go right now, reserve your spot. Let's have our 45-minute strategy call. If we're fit to work together, then I'll give you some next steps and I'll show you how we can go forward, and we can, over the course of about 12 weeks, we can completely transform your vision, your church, and get you moving in the right direction. If we're not a fit to work together, that's okay too. At least you now have a blueprint and a strategy to go out and to start doing what you believe the Lord has called you to do. Now, I will say this: if we decide to work together, it is not free and it is not cheap. But here's what I will promise you is that we will get you results. And so if you want to see results, then let's do it. Click apply right now, and I'll look forward to seeing you real soon on a strategy call.